Hi, everyone. This is Jake Phillips with Seamless.AI. Looks like we have a couple people who have joined us already, so appreciate you jumping on here for our uh, weekly group training. We will go ahead and get things kicked off here in a few moments. We typically like to just give a couple minutes after the hour to see if anybody else jumps on just a few minutes late. But around 2 or 3 after the hour, we'll go ahead and jump in, and we will do our demo and open our Q&A. All right, so just another minute here, and then we'll go ahead and get kick started. And just to make sure, we will be doing a walkthrough demo of the platform. So if you're able to be in front of a computer, we definitely recommend that. If you are in front of a computer, you'll see that David is now sharing his screen, and David Toll is actually with me. He is our Director of Customer Success here at Seamless, and he is going to be doing the walkthrough for you and with you. And so as we go through, feel free to raise your hand or use the chat at the bottom of the screen share and chat any questions that you might have, so we can make sure that we get those answered. We'll also have an open Q&A at the end. But if there is anything that's kind of outstanding, just raise your hand, let us know, and we'll go ahead and get that answered as quickly as we can. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and hand it over to David. And David can get us started walking through the demonstration of the Seamless.AI platform.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake. All right, everybody, welcome. As Jake mentioned, I am the Director of Customer Success here at Seamless.AI. So between Jake and myself, we handle just about everything when it comes to product or customer-facing needs. We're happy to have you here today. Looking through the names and the attendees, I recognize some new names that I've seen come in as recent upgrades over the past few weeks. So I'm excited to run through the platform and get your sea legs. We may also have a few veterans on board as well. As Jake mentioned, please chat us your questions during the demo, and we'll make sure to cover any unique use cases or questions that you have once we run through. But I will assume, to start us off, that we've got some folks in here who are, first-time users and looking for an introduction to the full power of the platform as far as having an unlimited license, or maybe considering getting an unlimited license. So that's how I'll frame it. But your questions are important, so please chat them over as they come, and we will address them as we go. So as you can see, I've got Seamless.ai pulled up over here. When you log in, this is the experience that you'll see before you start to search. Now we have two searches here that we built out and have combined into one experience. As you may already know, the founders of Seamless.ai were selling for Google, for IBM, and they found that they were missing 80 to 90% of the total addressable market that they had been tasked to get after. So they built this tool effectively to go out and find that total addressable market based on real-time data validated by artificial intelligence. So in order to use this tool, we need to leverage both the company search and the contact search. You can use these separately, but we like to use them together as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into company search first. Now we've got a few prompts in here to start with, but you've got these filters in place that can help you look by company name, industry, which we have as a fixed pick list, employee size, employee revenue, and then locations. So if you want to get a more targeted search by state, or even by city within a state, or if you're searching outside of the United States, you can target countries accordingly. So let's look at a sample set here, right? So we've got computer software, range of 500 to 1,000 employees, and we're searching only in the US. As you can see, that already populated a search over here. I can go ahead and click search again to show basically you can fill in whatever filters you want, click search, and we'll pull in those companies for you. Next step from here, I'll go over to select all, and they've automatically populated over here in my contact search. Contact search is where I can add additional. Let's say I want to look for VP level. I'll go ahead and hit search again. So now through the combined power of those two searches, I've targeted this specific list here. Now, when I want to find intel on these guys, all I do is click on Find All. First, what I'm going to do is get a list set up here. Once I do that, I can set that as a default. And when I click Find All, it's automatically adding all of this contact information to these lists. Once it's pulled in, I can check the validation information on that, make sure that the email address has been validated by our AI. And as these are getting pulled in, they're also all being added to my contacts automatically. Once these contacts are added over here, you can run additional filters. Validated email, company phone, contact phone. As you can see, we can mark as we go which ones are company, which ones are direct lines. We can also help you run deeper intel and contact intelligence on each one of these contacts based on all of the different data sources from which we're pulling. So you and your team can go a little bit deeper onto who they are and what's their biography, what's their need, so you can make sure you're addressing it. And once you have the right contact saved, built out in your lists, from my contacts, you can export a file. We usually recommend exporting clean, raw if you want to filter and play with the data a little bit more. But clean data will give you what you need in order to move forward and get this into a CRM or a dialer or whatever you're looking to use to execute. So that is the basic functionality of the search. I'm going to go ahead and run another example here real quick. So I'll clear all these out. So let's say we're looking for a particular title at a particular company. With these filters, Salesforce is the company, VP as the title. I can pull on a list right here. Now look at this, a little product tour, and that is Jake, who you just heard from earlier. So if you're wondering what Jake looks like, there you go. These product tours appear throughout the experience to help you better use the tool, to make sure that we're providing instructions and tutorials along the way in addition to webinars like this. So once you see these pop up, you can just click next, and it'll take you through everything you need. As you can see, a lot of this is what we just discussed to make sure you are armed and ready to use the tool. And obviously, we have this X here. If you start to see these pop up and you say, hey, that's old hat, I know how to use that now, you can always exit out of these at any time. But throughout the experience, we've built these product tours to help give you a living guide to the product so that you always have that proactive support from us and from our team so that you can become subject matter experts on how to use it. So once again, to review, once I've got these contacts pulled up, I'm going to go ahead and click Find All. And right now, this is a good time to remind us that this platform is not a database. It is a search engine. So right now, when I click Find All, it is in real time, going out and gathering as much information as possible from a variety of sources and then putting it through a multi-step validation process to validate this information for you before you use it. Direct lines, company phones, email, etc. So we took a look at my contacts. As you can see, all of these contacts that I just reviewed have all been automatically saved as well. I can filter by list, so if I just want to download my VPs, I'm able to do so. And then over to my companies, this will also give you a view of all the companies that you've seen before as well. And as you can see, here's a handy product tour again from Jake to explain everything. And as I stated earlier, if this is all old hat or you just want to skip through, you can always exit out of these tours and get right back to searching. All right. So that is the basic functionality of these two different searches and their combined power, companies and contacts. What I'm going to do now is take this contact search that I performed, and I'm going to use our social search. So what this will do is take us out of Seamless.AI. But because I have our Chrome extension installed right up here, it allows me to continue to behave as if I'm on the platform while I'm in LinkedIn. So I can still hit Find All for all of these contacts. The Chrome extension auto scrolls through the page to remind LinkedIn that I am not, in fact, a robot. And all of these contacts will now appear back in Seamless.ai, researched in real time. You can also take this all the way into Sales Navigator. And that way, if you wanted to take advantage of, if you're familiar with Sales Navigator, if you already use it, if it's part of how you operate, here it is. You can use it. You don't have to change a thing about how you typically go through your day-to-day. You can use all of the same filters that you're used to in here. Same thing. There's the Seamless.ai Chrome extension waiting there for you. So let's say I wanted to go a little bit, see, target a different CRM just to see what happens there. I'm still targeting VP of Marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and click Find All. Same thing. The Chrome extension is scrolling down the page, letting it refresh, and then scrolling all the way back up. And when I head back into Seamless, it's doing the work for me, validating those contacts and making sure everything is correct. By and large, most of our clients spend their time here in the app. We do see a lot of clients have a lot of success using the Chrome extension in Sales Navigator. If you are looking to take advantage of some of these filters, if you're already a Sales Nav customer and you're looking to build lists quickly, it is a great way to do it. So want to make sure we call that out. I would definitely download the Chrome extension if you haven't already. Other features to be aware of before we open the floor to questions, since that covers more of the basic search functionality of the platform. If you ever do need help, we have that available right down here. This is where you can search our Customer Knowledge Center or ask us a question. If there's something that you can't figure out, you can attach a file. If there's a data set that you have questions about, a video that you want to attach of an experience, that's something that we can review and get back to you as quickly as possible, so our customer success team can not only answer your questions and take care of anything that might need to be addressed, but also provide counsel and advice on how to best use the platform to achieve your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. So let's take a look at our settings real quick, just so we're familiar with those. As you can see, another one of Jake's friendly product tours will take us through this right now. So you can always come in and take a quick tour around the platform from your settings. You can also add the Google Chrome extension from right here to make sure you're able to use Seamless outside of the platform. You can add Seamless to your email so that it can access contact information. And you can add to your CRM. If you are a Salesforce user, we have a CRM import available that automatically imports leads into Salesforce for you and your team. We also have other integrations on the way. Jake, am I allowed to say what the next one coming out is, or is that still under wraps?
Sure. It's in testing, so it's very near. Go ahead and break the news.
Oh my goodness, drum roll. We are currently testing an integration for HubSpot and excited to roll that out as soon as possible. So it's well into the testing phase at this point. We're excited to get that going too, and more integrations to come on the way. We know it's how important it is to try to tie everything together, so you can be as efficient as possible. Other settings, you can invite your coworkers. If you are using Seamless, if you're the only person at your company using it today and you'd like to share the advantages that it provides with the rest of your team and try to build a case to bring on more licenses and help maximize your company's ability to get its total addressable market in play, this is a great way to do it. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one demo, you can jump in here, check out with us, and schedule time with us to go a little bit deeper into how to use the platform and drive your success. So the highlights there, adding the CRM, make sure you've got Google Chrome set up. As you get to a point, if you want to add more licenses, you can do so from right in here, just by adding licenses or inviting new members, depending on whether or not you're the owner of your organization, but that's where this can happen for you. Affiliates, If you're interested in our affiliate program, you can learn more about that here as well by referring your network and earning commission on any new accounts that you help sign up. And then finally, some of your basic account settings where you can take care of anything you need as far as identifying information goes. All right. So heading back over to the main search. That concludes our main overview of what the platform is, how it operates. What questions do we have from the group? I don't think I see any coming in unless let's see. No questions in the chat, but if anybody has any questions, or honestly, if anybody has anything that they'd like to see us demo, any particular targets that you're trying to hit right now, if you'd like us to demo a little bit of that as far as some of the searches that you'll be performing or have tried to perform, I'll be happy to walk through some of those as well, but really opening the floor to any questions that anybody on the call has. Seeing a good question coming in from Kurt. Better to create lists in Seamless.AI or in LinkedIn? Preference. That's a fantastic question, Kurt. It really depends on your needs. That's why we made it available, right? We wanted to make sure that if you were used to this experience in LinkedIn Sales Nav, you had a way to continue to take advantage of not only the features that are available here, but the ability to build lists at scale to find your total addressable market and also to validate that information using the multi-step process that's built into our platform. It is completely dependent on your needs. If this is a workflow that you're familiar with, then by all means, I would recommend using it. If you really are intent on searching contacts by geography, you'll notice that we don't have that set up as part of our validation on this side in the pure contact search. So if you're working within the app, we normally recommend searching by company first so that you can filter by location accordingly. So if I wanted to search all US, or maybe not all US, maybe I just want to look for Arizona and want to find, architecture and planning in Arizona. And that's my target market, right? I can use the native app to find the owners of those organizations using this two-step process. But if I wanted to just target individuals, then I could take that same search. Here, I'm going to go ahead and clear out these companies here too, just for the sake of demonstrating, right? I'm going to search owner. Well, here we go. I'm going to try it in here. I'd look for industry, architecture and planning. I'd look for geography. So it's really a question of preference to a certain extent. How do you want to search? So totally up to what kind of user experience are you looking for? What kind of priorities are you setting? That's usually what we see. When people are looking for a geographical focus, we tend to see them gravitate more toward LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Jake, that's something that I've seen to be consistent. Has that been true in your case as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's an efficiency gain for sure, because as David mentioned, we are working towards more of that kind of unified Sales Navigator approach. But at the moment, if you are looking for contacts using specific company criteria, that's going to be your single biggest efficiency gain there, utilizing a tool like that. You can also utilize LinkedIn Standard to do some of that as well, but you get a far greater set of criteria when you use Sales Navigator. So it's a tool that I use heavily in conjunction with LinkedIn, in conjunction with Seamless. It's definitely a complement as opposed to a competitor tool. It allows you to really access those quickly. And then in terms of the actual utilizing the lists in Sales Navigator or utilizing the lists in Seamless, those two are not connected. So you can utilize Sales Navigator, you can save to a list, and then you can find those. We allow you to actually have lead lists, and then you can find contacts under those lead lists using that find button. So that find button will show up right there, just like it does in the save searches. So it really is as David mentioned, a matter of preference. If you want to set up Sales Navigator lists and then find those contacts from that list. But we do see a lot of people who just use the Seamless list. So they go and they find, they run their search and they click the find all, and they use that list drop down on the top right there to set their list. And then you can, you can map, you can modify those, you can edit that. But as soon as you have that list set architecture AZ and you click that find button, as you'll see now when those go back into my contacts, those are all set as architecture AZ. And so from here, you can filter down by that list using that filter icon. You can import, you can export by that filtered icon as well. So that's a quick way for you to be able to find contacts utilizing a list that's set as default, and then import, export, delete based on that filtered set of data.
Perfect. Kurt, does that answer your question? Seems if you got a couple more follow-ups here. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm on. Yes, thank you.
Of course. Excellent. Some other good questions too. In testing, never quite know which phone number to use. Phone number for me is essential. I'm assuming that kind of means between company phone and direct phone, based on the question. Kurt, is that correct?
Is it automatic that I just use? So a lot of times I'll see a general switchboard kind of number, and of course I'd love it to get a direct number, and I never know what I can trust of the numbers. So it's a combination of everything. Which number can it get me to the guy the best?
Yep. Yeah. And so that's why we provide the contact and the company number. The contact number we're going to have in, less of the time. We're probably going to have the contact number 30 to 50% of the time. The company number we're going to have, 90+% of the time. And we also will provide multiple numbers as well. So if we have more than one, we'll recommend the top one based on the counts. But if there's more than one, we'll give you all of those numbers that we have. But we're going to provide within this list as that number one recommended number, the one that we think should be used based on the data that we have. We're able to find from our search. And then in terms of contact versus company number, contact number will most of the time be that number that's going to get you to the person, because we're connecting the contact and the company to that person as opposed to just a company number. But we do provide you both, because there are instances where that number may, for one reason or another, be older or not be the exact contact number. But I would recommend trying that contact number first, and then trying the company number as a fallback, as just kind of a standard rule of thumb. It's typically what we find the most success with.
So those icons you're showing, like in the first of Brian Burka, the first one is a contact number?
Yes.
What do those icons mean?
Yeah, so the icons is the company phone looking icon is a company. The cell phone means it's a contact number. And so a company number means we looked up the account for this company, and these are the phone numbers we have associated to this company. And then the contact number means we looked up Brian Burka at this company, and this is the number we have associated with Brian Burka at Burka Design. So that's going to be more of a direct number as opposed to a more general company line.
And the one below it?
That's what the contact, the direct number is the one that's associated with the contact. So the one that shows the cell phone, if it shows a cell phone right there, that means it's a direct number. It means it's associated to the contact. If it shows the company phone icon, as he has hovered here, that means it's a company number associated with the company and not necessarily associated directly with that contact.
And it's not necessarily a cell phone, though.
It is not necessarily a cell phone. So we do not at the moment have a delineation between a cell phone or a direct extension or a direct desk number. But we do have the data in the system that we have as we pull that back. If we provide it as a direct number, that means we have a correlation between that number and that contact as a direct connection to that person.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then, Kurt, did we get that question answered about lists and LinkedIn showing up? Or
I just need you to take me through it real quick, because it kind of went fast. So I get to LinkedIn through the social, I'm assuming, correct?
You can. You can also just go there natively as long as you have the Google Chrome extension installed.
Okay.
And again, you can do that from right here in your settings. Honestly, you can also plug Google Chrome Seamless extension into Google, and it will take you there right away as well.
Okay.
To be honest, but then once that's installed, you can either go directly from the social search, which will take you out there, or if you're already working within Sales Navigator, this will follow you. One thing I will recommend is keeping both tabs open, so you can kind of monitor as contacts go back into Seamless, which I was kind of doing earlier, not just for the sake of demoing, but that's also a practice we recommend, to keep both of these tabs open. We just find that it tends to function a lot more effectively if they're both open at the same time.
And David, I'll handle what I think is the question directly. So how to list in LinkedIn show up in Sales
Yeah,
Navigator.
exactly.
So you see basically the search results right here, and it shows the view, the next, the button, the find buttons at the top there. So this is just a save search that you run. You run a different search, those buttons will show up. But if you actually save the contacts to a list in Sales Navigator, that is going to show up in your saved lists in Sales Navigator, but those find buttons are also going to be there in the saved list as well. So the find button, basically, you click that find button to research and validate that contact. So whether you're doing it from a search or whether you're doing it from a saved list, the find button is essentially going to do the same thing. It's going to look up that contact information. It's going to send it to my contacts, and it's going to research and validate it and save it there. So it is just kind of a matter of preference. If you want to go through and you want to actually create saved lists in Sales Navigator, and then go through and click the find button in Seamless with that Chrome extension, so you can do that from the saved list, or you can just search for contacts directly in the search results, and then use the Seamless list functionality, and then click the find or the find button. So the list functionality in Seamless and the list functionality in Sales Navigator are not linked. They're not the same thing. They're different components altogether. One of them is creating a list based on contacts that you found anywhere in LinkedIn, and it's putting them in your Seamless account with that list associated. Or if you're utilizing the Sales Nav list, you're putting them into your Sales Nav list, and then there you go. You can see the find button show up there as well. But they are not linked in terms of they're the same element across Sales Nav and Seamless.
So if I have several lists already created in Sales Nav and I want to get them into Seamless, and I don't want to have them necessarily integrated, I want to be able to see them as a group in Seamless. When they come over, do they come over as a group, and can I see them?
So that is where I would set up that list right there. So I would jump into your list, your saved list in Sales Navigator, and then I would just basically name the list that you see here in this little drop down. Just name it the same as your saved list, and then when that list is now set, those will get come over with the list that you see here as this name, and so then you can filter down by that list. So that's what I'd recommend.
Perfect. Okay. Very good.
Yep.
Excellent. All good questions. All right, I've got another one from Richard here. I've seen some lower email total AI percentages in some of my searches. How do I differentiate a bad versus good email? I think, Jake, that sounds a bit like the email validation process. Do you think that's kind of the feature that Richard is looking for there, as far as being able to include whether or not an email is validated?
Yeah, so there's really two components that will apply to the email intelligence. It's the confidence score and the email validation. So if you click on Brian Burka right there, and then you scroll down to the bottom, you can see that there's the accept all, and then there's also the count and the total AI score. So the higher the count means the higher the pattern that we found for that contact, and a higher count is really a higher confidence score. So there's a couple other things that we're doing to try to identify and provide the most optimal email associated with that contact. One of them is the count and the density of that data against the data that we have. The other is an email validation step that we go through as well. So you've probably heard of tools in email marketing, like Never Bounce and Bright Verify, Zero Bounce, things like that. We have that technology built into our system. So anytime we recommend an email, we also do email validation against that as well. So if it comes back as valid, that means you're good to go. 99% success rate generally on those for the send. Accept all is kind of that email gray area where you don't necessarily know if it's going to be a successful send or not, because it's an open email server, but we provide that recommendation with that count, the pattern count, and the highest pattern count associated to give you the confidence that that is the correct email. Also, if we do have an exact match in the data set, we'll provide the exact match as well to give you more confidence there. So there are a few instances where potentially the pattern count will not be the highest count, but that'll be the recommended email in an accept all scenario. That means we found an exact match against the data and accept all. So those can, give you a little bit more confidence as well, and that's going to be a higher totally high score. But there's a couple things that we do, and we're always trying to elevate the most likely solution all the way up to the top to provide you with the most likely recommended email for that particular contact.
Yeah, the biggest thing we always remind clients of is that we're working with real-time data here, and that's how we got to 80 to 90% of the total addressable market that wasn't being covered by other solutions. We went out there to look for contacts that people were having a hard time finding anywhere else and provide unique solutions that'll help us get there. So no, it's good to have an eye toward these and to understand what they mean to make sure that you're targeting the most relevant possible contacts and driving as much efficiency. Richard, I'll see your follow-up question there. I was also curious if you pinged the email to validate, so thank you for answering that at the same time. Of course, we knew what you were thinking, Richard. Great minds think alike. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, really good question so far. I'm glad that everybody's diving a little bit deeper into the functionality of the tool, the validation of the data. Obviously, that's of tremendous importance to us.
And I also just want to say real quickly on that subject too that
of course.
continuously optimizing and enhancing the way that we provide recommendations and emails and accuracy in our system is really the core to what we do at Seamless. So every day, every week, every month, that is really our core number one focus, is allowing you to find as many contacts in a wider addressable market than any other system, but also maximizing that accuracy as much as we possibly can. So the goal of our system is that it's really, really strong solution today, and that next week it's going to be stronger. Next month it's going to be that much stronger. So we're constantly working every day to optimize this. So if you guys have any questions about any of that stuff, we're always here through that help center, through that help link in the bottom right corner too. Or if there's anything that you guys want to provide in terms of input, we're always open to that from our customers as well, trying to build the solution that our clients really need to make you as successful as possible in sales and marketing. So if anything does come up, definitely let us know. But the accuracy, the depth of these contacts is our number one goal all the time. So we're constantly on a daily basis working to improve and enhance that whole process.
Exactly. Our basic theory is that if we can match the power of these combined searches with the most accurate data possible, then you guys as customers will be completely unstoppable in your total addressable market, which is our goal. We do have, we're only at 4:30, so we definitely have more time for questions. I've got another one coming in from Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Any particular recommendations as to the success stories using Seamless.AI? How are the top performers using this? That is also a really good question. We do have some testimonials on the main site that you can go and review that provide a little bit of a high-level perspective on some of the things people have accomplished. But the two behaviors that I've observed from very successful customers. One has been, we talked about it already, to download the Chrome extension so that you can either leverage it in LinkedIn or in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because you can obviously drive some huge efficiency gains by using the combined power of these two tools. We think that what LinkedIn Sales Navigator has provides a lot of great features, and obviously, LinkedIn is a tremendous source of data. So combining the power of the Chrome extension with LinkedIn Sales Navigator is absolutely something that many of our most successful customers do in order to drive efficiency at scale. The next behavior I'd recommend adopting is, and this is kind of connected to Sales Nav, but also to the general search as well. I'll run into a pattern in training where customers will, they'll get into search, and of course we're providing a wealth of information here, and it's tempting to dive right in, and I absolutely understand that. Our most successful customers move with confidence. They want to find all, see that it's starting to populate, and then they want to move on to the next one before you can come back and look at this later. Then they move on to the next. Same thing in LinkedIn Sales Nav. They're finding all, letting it do its work, and then heading on to the next one. So wherever you are, moving with that confidence that you can come back and review your list in Seamless. It's very tempting to get caught up. I mean, I do it too from a customer success perspective, right? You know, you kind of want to dig in and look at each individual one. Resist that. Resist that. Let yourself build this list at scale so you can get that efficiency gain in place. Our most successful customers are doing exactly that. They're getting confident to move through quickly, and that's actually what our team does as well when they're building lists. This is about the pace at which they'll go. So getting comfortable with whichever version of the process you're using, whether it's the Chrome extension in Sales Nav or the native application here, moving with that confidence that it's working correctly and you're doing it correctly and you're building those lists. The most important thing in there is to make sure that you've got that list set up so that you're importing them all into the same place, and you'll be able to come back and filter that correctly.
And I would say the last thing on that is, don't be afraid to cast a little bit of a wider net. There are other solutions and, other databases out there where, you have 1,000 contacts a month for a very large price point that you have to deal with. But, one of the benefits of Seamless is that we give you the ability to find the amount of contacts that you want, really that suit your needs, whether it's 1,000, it's 10,000, it's 50,000 a month. Our package allows you to go out and do that. So you can expand your search results a little bit and, go beyond just maybe, an owner or a C-level to a VP level and reach out to those people, because we found a lot of people who have had great success, thinking that they have to talk to the C-level, and they go out and they build a really tight list of C-levels, which you could do with the Seamless platform. But I'd recommend also, including some of the VPs in there as well, and trying to make connections in those arenas, because a lot of times, you're able to get in through that capacity, or even the decision maker is, a VP or a director level who is going to get you more ability to communicate with. So we see a lot of people who have success in casting a little bit of a wider net than they typically would, because Seamless allows you to do that because of our unlimited package to be able to take you to, 1, 10, 50,000 contacts in a given month, as opposed to being so hyper-focused and worried about every little contact that you're spending because of the price point that's associated with every single contact credit.
Yep, that's exactly right. Kurt, great question. Can I import into my CRM directly from Seamless.AI? Depends on your CRM at the moment, but that's something we're actively working on. So if you go to your settings and you click Add to CRM, right now we do have an active Salesforce integration. And when that's in play, when you go back here, and I'll get this installed so I can do a better job demonstrating it for you next time, everybody, there will be a little Salesforce cloud icon here indicating that you'll be importing those leads directly into Salesforce as well. So yes, you can direct them. It can be imported into Salesforce automatically, and we do have a CRM integration in testing right now with HubSpot that should be released shortly, along with other integrations that we have on the roadmap as well. Good.
Let me pick up on that, if I may.
Of course.
My CRM is not either of the two you just mentioned.
Which CRM do you use?
It's Nimble. So does that mean it's not compatible?
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not compatible. It means that we don't have a direct integration at this point. Anybody who's using a CRM outside of Salesforce right now, which is plenty of our customers, they're going into My Contacts. Once they put those lists together, they're filtering by which list they want to pull, and then downloading a CSV directly.
Got it. Okay.
Then import into their CRM.
I do have a little bit more good news on that front, though, is David had mentioned we are working on a HubSpot integration. The very next integration after our HubSpot integration, which we hope to have out in the next 4 to 6 weeks, is a Zapier integration. Zapier is basically a middleware piece of technology that allows you to connect to 1,500 other applications. I just did a quick search. Looks like Nimble CRM does have a Zapier connection. So as soon as we connect Seamless within Zapier, that'll allow you to use that technology to connect Seamless to Nimble and be able to do it that way. So it's a really easy tool to use, Zapier, if you haven't used it before. There's other solutions out there similar to it. But I use it from a product standpoint to integrate some of our technologies that we don't have native integrations with. So in the next couple of weeks, there will be a solution that will allow you to utilize that Zapier third party to connect Nimble and 1,500 other applications with Seamless. So we're really excited about getting that launched here soon. But in the interim, exporting this as a CSV, mapping those fields, and importing those. We have a lot of users. I'd say probably almost half of our users don't have Salesforce right now, and so they're using Seamless in another CRM or in another tool, third party, and they're utilizing that export and import process, and it's a pretty efficient process, and really doesn't take too much extra effort. But in the very near future, there will be a solution that'll allow you to have that native integration utilizing that third party.
Got it. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Of course.
I don't know if I'm the only one asking questions here. If I can ask another one verbally, is that all right?
I think that's fine. Everybody else feel free to chime in, though, verbally or in chat, whatever works.
Okay. I have Chrome on my computer. Does that automatically mean that I am connected as needed with LinkedIn and Seamless?
Not necessarily automatically. I would make sure that you hop into the Chrome store, follow that link in your settings. You will have to install the extension directly from the Chrome web store. But we've tried to make that as easy as possible by helping you do it right here in your settings. I already have it installed, Kurt, but when you log in, you should see a product tour like one of the other ones we had rolling earlier on the site pop up to guide you toward downloading it. If you don't, though, this is exactly where you can go in your settings. Click Add to Google Chrome, and this is where
got it.
Take you directly. Yep.
Got it. Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah, that's really quick. It's literally one button click, and it installs right away. So 10 seconds, you'll have it all connected and all set to go.
Very good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'll throw out a last call for questions. Obviously, we have time, and we'd like to make sure that we take care of anybody's existing needs. In general, thank you for jumping on. We're excited to have everybody on board. As you can see, we've got plenty lined up on our product roadmap in addition to everything that you already see here. We're very proud of this product. At the end of the day, ultimately, our goal is to positively impact everybody in the sales industry, 1 billion people out there across the world, and make sure that you're able to really connect with people and connect with people who are interested in your product, and to use the technology at our disposal here, both through the search functionality and the AI validation that's being performed to get you there, so that you can spend more time talking to people who love your product and solve their problems for them. And that makes life better for everybody. So that's the goal. That's our goal with the product as it currently stands, and that's the goal with every iteration of it that we will roll out and every update we will create to bring it even further down the line. So thank you all for attending. Please reach out to us here in the help function if you ever have any questions. I manage that team directly, and we'd be more than happy to hear from you. And thank you all for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.